from the news hub here at Adesawe Kanda, I am Portia Gabor.
And I am Martin Asiedu. Dartey. Here are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal.
Kumasi delegates settle on Yao Owusu Obimpe as the Ashanti regional representative of the Council of State amidst tense atmosphere.
"52 kills consumed by fire in the slum community of Tantra Hills."
Residents of Wale in the northeast region begin to feel the economic impact of the curfew imposed on the community.
In business news, the Africa Center for Energy Policy accuses ECG of unilaterally altering the agreed-upon cash waterfall mechanism.
On the international front, European leaders meeting in Paris for an emergency summit on Ukraine.
We have details of these stories coming up shortly in the next 1 hour. Do stay with us.
And we are starting from the Ashanti region, where after all the back and forth, delegates have finally settled on Yao Owusu Obimpe as the Ashanti regional representative on the Council of State. The keenly contested council election was conducted amidst tense atmosphere. Ibrahim Abubakar has more in the following report.
After Tuesday, February 11 incident that saw tax disrupting the Council of State election process at the Regional Coordinating Council, the venue was changed to the Premier Assembly Hall for the rerun. With an enhanced security, accredited individuals who wanted to access the voting area had to go through at least 3 security checkpoints. Not even the former Minister of Education, Dr. Asiedu, and former Assin Central lawmaker Kennedy Ejapon were allowed access to the premises of the voting area. The strict security measures were to prevent unauthorized individuals from entering the voting center, all in a bid to avoid any form of activity that may disrupt the election process. One person who attempted to breach the security protocols was arrested. At the end of the polls, Yao Owusu Obimpe was elected with 49 votes. His closest contender, Nana Nkansa Boadu Ayeboafo, secured 35 votes.
Yao Owusu ekase ene akansie no yenua Yao Owusu Obimpe 49 votes ene ye winner. The Electoral Commission we declared Yao Obimpe as the winner, and then regional rep for Council of States.
Revolution has a long way to go, but I come to say.
Esa ba ye beto ye no asumdwe ayede aba na enne yewra Yao Owusu Obimpe ye yi ni se o meye Council of State member obese ye bose ekwa okono ode enyoma pa ebeba Asante
ena me be ka regional chairman ho ana kwesi ho no ye de kaba mo ne kroye eba ko mampani mama ho na yime biara oye so be Asante mamu na mpe before ba ye o manya no ye de kaba mo ne kroye ye say na otumfo na mpuntuo nyina akoso aya Asante maye na ka Ghana manyina.
Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
Let's now engage the thoughts of a political analyst with the Kumasi Technical University, Dr. Efriye Samuel. Doc, good evening. Thank you for joining us on News 360.
Yes, good evening.
Right, so I'll go to my first question and kindly unmute for us while I do that. What are your initial thoughts on how competitive the Council of State elections have been? I mean, clearly over the years, it actually happened without the notice of the public or many people. But this time around, there seemed to be some tense competition going into this election of Council of State members. How did we get here? What do you make of it?
Yes, thank you very much once again, and greetings to your viewers. You know, I think of late, some time now, the awareness of the Council of State has become so prevalent in our democracy, in our democratic system, especially when partisan approach has been used for the selection of these Council of State members. That is what has brought in some of these kind of tension and people now being aware, because now you see that people, instead of not to be seen as partisan, but to elect people that can represent and counsel the president when the leader right, has made it now that people are trying to use the politics, that the partisan, that you see that the MPP, the NDC will tend to follow certain people or certain candidates for them to able to win that is to represent the region. And that is what is trending now. And that has made the Council of State trying to lose its relevance in terms of its partisan, non-partisan approach. And that is quite unfortunate. And that is what is bringing this issue up.
Yeah, you talk about the partisan nature of the Council of State elections and how we are getting, or it is becoming partisan. How do we clearly define the lines of who can be a member to advise the president and not make it partisan? It looks as though anything election related has become partisan in the country. How can we make the Council of State elections non-partisan, as it should be, actually?
Exactly, I agree to what you're saying. And what needs to happen is that we need to, I think President Mahama has set a constitutional review committee. We need to modify our Council of State and how these representatives are selected. Because when you look at the current kind of form of selection, or people who tend to vote, you see that party members can just push their people to be selected so that they can just elect people that is in partisan approach. So until we turn to review Council of State, its membership, how they are being selected, at the same time, how they can also be given certain powers, because the Council of State have lost its relevance of late, because when you look at the Constitution, it just states that they just give counsel. But counsel, the president can accept or the president can reject. And because of that, you realize that it has made the people that select these reps, you know, it makes them to use politics. Because when I went to the Ashanti region, you realize that instead of for not to be partisan, you see billboards, people that are coming up with posters with the former president, that is President Mahama, and that is the NDC. And you also see other candidates also coming out with these big posters around. And that is a way. So the committee, the constitutional review, I think that we need to review it and make it more relevant if we expect and expand it.
Would you still on that though, and sorry for cutting, would you say that since there is going to be a constitution review to look at our constitution and this particular issue is likely to come up for a review, would you suggest or advise that it be scrapped? And my question is premised on the fact that the Council of State that is expected to advise the president, that advice is not binding. The president is not supposed or compelled to take that advice. So what really then is the relevance of that advice in the Council of State? Do you agree with those who are saying it should totally be scrapped?
Yes, I agree that for its current state, right, we need to just, if it says scrap, then probably it's not relevant at all. But I think that it has its relevance because we need to change some aspect of it. The principle behind that, we need people with expertise, people who have made it in life, people who can advise the president. And I'm saying that we can just modify the process of selection. That is one. At the same time, expand its selection where we can get people who have expertise, people who have made it, and also the kind of people that will select them, and also give the Council of State a little bit of powers, so that it will not just only be advised, but at least a little bit of some kind of enforcement or some credible, let's say, information or advice that they will give it to the president, so that the president can make a difference in his governance.
Dr. Samuel Efree, thank you for your time. Pleasure talking to you.
In more news tonight, residents of Wale Wale in the northeast region are beginning to feel the economic impact of the curfew imposed in the community. This crucial trade hub serving as a vital thoroughfare for goods from Burkina Faso and neighboring border towns like Buntrugu to Togo face significant disruptions as nighttime activities have come to a standstill. Solomon Kwame Kanaluwe sent this report.
The imposition of curfew in Wale Wale has marked an important moment for the region, particularly its economic fortunes. With the road serving as a critical highway for trade and industry, the curfew has led to a noticeable decline in commercial activities. Trucks and vehicles that typically transport goods across the borders have been halted, creating a backlog that could have lasting effects on supply chains. Local businesses, especially those that thrive during the night time, have been forced to shut their doors, resulting in immediate financial strain. Shop owners and vendors have expressed concern over potential losses and the challenge of regaining their footing once normalcy returns.
We are losing too much, especially our business. In the night, they can't come out and buy things, especially the food, the water, and other things. Anyway, and I do not the
curfew, while aimed at ensuring public safety, raises pressing questions about the balance between security and economic vitality of the region. The curfew, while aimed at ensuring public safety, raises pressing questions about the balance between security and the economic vitality of the region. As the days progress, community leaders and stakeholders will need to closely monitor the impact of the curfew, advocating for measures that can mitigate the economic fallout while ensuring the safety and well-being of residents.
Even then, 20 cities or 50 cities, a day they can spend 20 cities, 30 cities, means they have to run and leave me alone, and also have children at least 4 or 5. How can I take care of them? And as of this business moving, means I don't know where I'm going to turn. I'm in Wale Wale to make business, maybe while the grace of God, I also make something out of them.
The ongoing situation underscores the interconnectedness of security and commerce in Wale Wale, highlighting the need for a comprehensive approach to address both challenges effectively.
It is not my interest that there should be curfew in Wale Wale, not at all. It's in nobody's interest, not even the president, neither the Minister of Interior, that people should be sleeping at the time that they should not be sleeping. But I'm just praying they should just exercise patience and remain calm. The issue was getting beyond control, and that is why these measures had to be taken. I'm pleading with the residents of Wale Wale community and the entire Mampugu that let's have patience.
Let's now go to the Upper West region, where 2 more lives have been lost to meningitis, bringing the total of deaths to 16, with 129 suspected cases reported. Our correspondent Ibrahim Wangara has more.
As most parts of the region grapple with a daily increase in cases, stakeholders in the region are increasingly worried about the situation. Health authorities report that out of 129 suspected cases, 22 have been confirmed as meningitis. Currently, 29 individuals have been hospitalized with symptoms of the disease, 3 of whom are in critical condition. Despite the dedication of health workers, the number of cases continues to rise weekly. Regional Health Director Dr. Damien Pungunyiri, while explaining the circumstances behind the latest deaths recorded, expressed worry about reporting late to health facilities.
Is the late reporting. and the atypical presentation of this disease. We have been dealing with a disease that does not transmit easily, but once you get it, it is very deadly. And so it's not like the previous ones that one case can spread to 10 people, and so you have to vaccinate. Unfortunately for this one, there is no vaccine for response vaccination.
The Speaker of Parliament and representative of the Upper West Parliamentary Caucus have visited the region to ascertain the situation. To help reduce the impact, Speaker Alban Bagbin supported the Health Directorate with medical consumables worth over 300,000 cedis.
What we have here is a little bit in terms of cash, over 300,000. And one of our brothers who is working at the Curfew Hospital, Dr. Don, was the one who led me to try to identify those that were critical, those that were potent, and those that were very effective and needed in the region.
On his part, Upper West Regional Minister Charles Luanga Pozin said he is working with other partners to ensure the region gets out of the situation.
On Friday, 14th February, on behalf of the Health Directorate and the region, I received a sum of 100,000 Ghana cedis from the National Lottery Authority based on a request we had made after our meeting on the 10th to also assist financially in terms of how vehicles and other activities will be carried out.
Let me now update you on ongoing actions being undertaken by the Ghana Health Service to curb the spread of the disease. Now, the region has stepped up public education using a variety of media, including the churches, the media, that's radio stations, schools, and outreach service points, emphasizing on prevention and early reporting. The Acting Director General of the Ghana Health Service has also authorized the free treatment of suspected meningitis cases irrespective of the health insurance status of clients, and the National Rapid Response Team has been dispatched by the Acting Director General to support the Regional Response Team. And the regional team with support from the national level has also conducted a clinical audit of the latest deaths to understand the underlying cases. And the Office of the Acting Director General of the Ghana Health Service has also provided some medicines to support effective management of cases and financial resources for capacity building of its staff.
Still on health, though, there is also a disturbing outbreak of cholera. Now, about 300,000 persons are expected to be vaccinated by the close of the 4-day cholera vaccination exercise in the Greater Accra region. TV3 News has, however, gathered that after today's exercise in Accra, the campaign will be held again in some selected districts of the central region, which has become one of the epicenters of the outbreak. The exercise, which is taking place in 3 sub-metros of Accra, that is Ablekuma South, Okaikwe South and Asiedu Keteke, is targeting some eligible persons 1 year and above, excluding pregnant women. As the country grapples with the growing cholera outbreak, health officials are racing behind time to contain the spread of the death. The Ifutu municipality and Agona West, all in the central region, remain 3 hotspots, although the Greater Accra region has the highest number of all confirmed cases. Meanwhile, the EPI manager of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Kwame Amponsa Achiano, has been explaining the criteria to assess the vaccines as a country for the campaigns.
If you leave an outbreak to fester, it will kill people, and then eventually it will die. But you don't want to do that. So once you intervene, the deaths go down and so on. But again, the vaccines only add to the arsenal. We're almost going to Dartey East, but remember, after we got the vaccine, then the epicenter changed. So, you know, as a country, you need to take a bold decision. Where do you go? You sink to where the cases, with all the other interventions. Remember, the vaccine is only an add-on. all the other interventions for lingering on for a long time, eventually cases going down. Then you have a place where you think that you have a lot of cases. You go there, and then within 7 days, cases are gone. So the evidence was very clear, and more so for Western region. Western region just before the Christmas was almost hitting a peak. Once we went in, otherwise we couldn't have celebrated the Christmas in peace. So as for the vaccines, they work. That does not mean that you should again go into the risk behaviors, not washing hands, open defecation. You know, for every vaccine, you would have some who would respond positively, others may not. It's normal. And so you get people who would completely not get any infection of cholera, but you still get people who may. But when you have a lot of people, you know, in epidemiology, I mean, in epidemics, we have a lot of people protected. The rest who are unprotected.
In more news tonight, around 52 kiosks have been consumed by fire in the slum community of Tantra Hills. The community is in shock, with residents grieving the loss of their belongings and facing the harsh reality of homelessness. Although the Ghana National Fire Service has managed to control the flames, the damage has already taken a heavy toll.
Right here in Tantra Hills, St. John's, there has been significant fire that has erupted. The slum community that is inside Chemota, Tantra Hills precisely. And from eyewitnesses, everything, as you can see here, has been engulfed by fire. I will be drawing now to the particular woman who you see in my shot to speak to her so that she tells me exactly what happened and then how it happened here.
Me pacha, me was kumu na my friend be say a jar told me fear and I made him break me buy ya. Fire service for child who shall not do me die what I say. Just say chaos no was wrong. Must say Johnny fish throw on the say na electrical human so na Johnny fire echo robi chaos na gas or na glass diplo. I
just spoke with Lucy Lovey, and Lucy is staying here where the fire just happened. In fact, taking literally everything, and she explains that there was an electrical problem here, and it entered into a particular kiosk where there was some gas and it exploded. And when the fire service got here, unfortunately, they could not douse the fire completely because the place was scattered and they could not enter. They were actually blocked from entering, and then everything is bent. She is a mother, she was in school, and she could not get anything to take home, to take away from her house, her money, everything is bent to ashes.
I can't really talk because I was at the workplace when they called me to come. My landlord called me to come, and then there is fire outbreak. Before I could come, everything is gone.
So all your belongings, everything is vanished.
Yeah, I was able to take some out. But my colleagues and my neighbors, everything is gone. As you can see, everything.
So where do you plan to sleep tonight?
I'll go back to the workplace.
Into be friend of us who say I had mush into me casobwa and I'm dimmy by a sampa. Bibiashi. Manfa at pink cram and fabia.
Bibiashi. Sika form 40 million. Bisika managing in us.
We got a fire call around this afternoon that there was a fire here at Tantra Hill around 2 p.m. We've bemoaned, especially on your platform and many other platforms, the lack of a fire station within a big area like this. Look at a big area like Tantra Hill, Achimota, Dome, Kwabenya, Taifa. There's no single fire station in this whole area. So whenever there's an emergency, the appliance has to move all the way from Abilenke. Look at the traffic situation that we are dealing with. So we did well to get here, barring all the unfortunate circumstances on the way. We got here within 10 minutes and realized that the fire was fast spreading. So it was important that we identified the unaffected structures or buildings and try to fight the fire to contain it from further spread. So we're able to, it took us a bit of an hour, but we're able to confine the fire and put it under control. As of now, it's under control, but it's not extinguished.
Reporting live from St. John's, Safwa Boahine, TV3 News.
Now to education, where Minister of Education Haruna Idrisu has announced the reintroduction of Parent-Teacher Association in public schools at the launch of a rehabilitation project for public schools, public basic schools infrastructure in the Okankwe South area. The Education Minister stated that the initiative aims to empower parents to contribute to the development of schools nationwide.
The deplorable state of most public basic schools infrastructure in parts of the country have raised concerns about successive governments' committed investments in transforming the sector. While some schools in northern Ghana beg for urgent state intervention, others in the capital have huge infrastructural deficits. The Bishop Primary School in Bubuashi is one of the many schools in the historic state, yet it remains the preferred choice of formal basic learning institution for pupils in the catchment area. Over the years, rusty roofing sheets of the classrooms have not been replaced. Member of Parliament for the area, Enesa Dumako, has initiated a 79 million cedi project to renovate all deplorable schools in Okankwe South.
This designed to improve teaching and learning conditions for over 8,000 learners, 350 dedicated teachers across 20 schools in Okankwe South. We are not just fixing schools. We are building a brighter and prosperous future for the next generation of leaders, innovators, and change makers.
Minister for Education Haruna Idrisu acknowledged the widespread phenomenon of poor educational infrastructure, noting that the prevailing situation is an indictment on the state.
I accept it as a wake-up call. It is urging government and the state that when we promise free, which the free will mean investment in infrastructure, investment in textbooks and exercise books, investment in the quality of teachers. He assures me again that he would invest in motivating teachers in this particular area to give their best to our young people.
The Tamale South Member of Parliament also announced the restoration of the Parents-Teachers Association, which was cancelled by the previous administration.
I am particularly happy to announce that PTAs will be introduced back into the management of education under the presidency of Excellency Dr. Mahama, to work for parents and teachers to work together to improve learning outcomes in our educational institutions and for PTAs to support our educational institutions.
The Education Minister did not only restore PTA, but also reinstated the National Standardized Test for pupils in Primary 2, 4 and 6. The ceremony was graced by the Gamancheni Taki Teiko True II, whose desire is to see the retention of Gardangme teachers in Accra to teach the indigenous dialect.
What I want to say today is that you train up a girl child, you train up a whole nation. You train up a boy child, you train up an individual. But today, we want to put this environment into proper stead so that you can learn in a comfortable environment and be able to produce needed results, to be able to be competitive both locally and internationally with your compatriots.
Government's much anticipated National Education Forum is expected to begin tomorrow, Tuesday, February 18. President John Mahama will open the forum tomorrow in Ho in the Volta region. The nationwide forum, which will end on February 28, is expected to be on the theme Transforming Education for a Sustainable Future. It will be structured along zonal stakeholder engagement and town hall meetings under 5 thematic areas that infrastructure, quality education, regulations, accountability and governance, education, financing, and research and data. In other news, the founder and general overseer of Alive Chapel International, Bishop Salifu Amwako, together with his wife and domestic worker, have been rearrested. This is shortly after prosecutors withdrew charges filed against them regarding their roles in his son's accident, which resulted in the deaths of 2 girls, a report by Lord Idoasari.
The suspects, Prophet Elisha Salifu, his wife Moha, and a domestic worker, Linda Bempa, are to be charged with new offences for their roles in the accident involving the couple's son, leading to the death of 2 young girls in October 2024. In court on Monday, February 17, State Attorney Ebenezer Yao Akwa indicated that in light of further study of the docket, the Attorney General's office would allow the police to conduct further investigations to determine the direction the prosecution should take. He therefore prayed the court to withdraw the charge sheet against the accused persons. Lawyers representing Prophet Amoako noted that they were hoping the prosecution would withdraw the charges but would not object to the withdrawal of the charge sheet. Presiding Judge Samuel Bright Akwa, after hearing the statements, granted the prayer of the prosecution. But shortly after proceedings ended, the accused persons were rearrested by the police who were stationed outside the premises. The police officers escorted them into a waiting vehicle. They were initially charged with granting permission to an unlicensed person to drive. They all pleaded not guilty and had been on a 50,000 Ghana cedi bail. The suspects were arrested after their 16-year-old son allegedly caused an accident in East Legon on October 12, 2024, leading to the death of 2 girls. He has since been sentenced to serve at the Senior Correctional Center for 6 months. Lord Idoasari, TV3 News, Accra.
The once thriving shore of Jamestown Beach in Accra is now suffocating under the weight of plastic and textile pollution, with the United Nations warning that by 2050 there will be more plastic than fish in the ocean. Urgent action is needed to remove the sea of plastic and textile pollution at Jamestown. There's more on this report.
Along the shores of Jamestown in Accra is a glaring but seeming silent and less talked about phenomenon creeping up along Ghana's coastal shores. Plastic and textile pollution have taken over the oceans and shorelines, choking marine life. The fishermen are not just catching fish anymore. It comes with plastic waste. With depleting fish stock, this phenomenon, if not tackled immediately, could have dire consequences for marine life and food sustainability. The plastic pollution on the beaches is not just an eyesore, it's a ticking time bomb.
Scientific research has shown that microplastics have been found in the bloodstream of human beings. So we are eating a lot of plastics and poisonous materials because of the heavy pollution that we have on our beachfronts.
The United Nations defines marine litter as any persistent, manufactured or processed solid material discarded, disposed of or abandoned in the marine and coastal environment. It involves items that have been made or used by people and deliberately discarded into the sea or rivers.
Some of the waste generated are unacceptable. They contain products like baby diapers and plastic waste. We are helpless. Immediately we harvest fish from the sea, we gather the waste, but can't bring it ashore. We throw them back into the sea. We cannot do anything about it. We can't collect the waste. Even if we quit fishing for a year to tackle it, we will still not be able to get rid of all the waste here.
The children rummage through them for fish. While fish sellers conduct business in the filth.
When they go to the sea, they catch plenty rabbits with pampers, pads and whatever. Even the bottles, they catch plenty. So that one there is worrying us a lot.
It is estimated that every year 19 to 23 million tons of plastic waste leaks into aquatic ecosystems, polluting lakes, rivers and seas. The situation is further worsened by the knowledge that plastics can take hundreds of years to break down.
It's important for us to ban the importation of used clothes to a certain extent, and it's also important for us to consider banning certain types of single-use plastics. What else can we do? Taxation is one of the ways to manage single-use plastics and the importation of these things, where you put higher taxes on these things too.
By addressing marine litter, which includes plastic and textile waste, we not only ensure the vitality of our oceans, but also promote a sustainable future for both the environment and humanity.
This is still News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. We have the latest in the world of business for you after this.
You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior. You know, one bucket Flamingo paint is
I am Michael Obodu. Now, the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, has accused the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, of unilaterally altering the agreed-upon cash waterfall mechanism, a system designed to regulate the equitable distribution of revenue among stakeholders. Policy lead for petroleum and conventional energy at ACEP, Kojo Yauche, argues that this alteration has contributed significantly to ECG's debt accumulation. He emphasizes that until ECG stops accumulating debt and increases its collection rate to around 90% in the short term, independent power producers will refuse to renegotiate ECG's debt.
So you have monies that have piled up over years from non-payments to the IPPs, which we can call the legacy debt. And then whilst those monies are there yet to be tackled, and also accruing interest from non-payment, the ECG continuously accumulates debt. So any attempt at fixing ECG and the problems that comes with it have to start, first of all, from how do we stop debt accumulation? How do we ensure that we can move collection rate from the current around 45% to somewhere 90% within the short term, so that no new debt is created. Then in the medium to long term, we have a conversation with the IPPs on how to sort out the legacy debt.
Now, the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GEPA, is urging women-led small and medium-sized enterprises to capitalize on the authority's resources to expand their businesses and promote intra-African trade through the African Continental Free Trade Area AfTA. According to Director of Projects at GEPA, this call to action is particularly relevant as the authority hosts Gambia women business leaders on a week-long study tour.
The tour aims to facilitate trade discussions and knowledge sharing within the AFCFTA framework as part of a peer-to-peer engagement. Director of Projects at GEPA underscored the need to promote women-led SMEs to boost intra-African trade, leveraging the African Continental Free Trade Agreement.
Just to encourage women businesses to innovate and to do more to be able to access international markets. And we are glad that very many younger women are now going into businesses, which is very good, because our populations are dominated by women. And the more the women take center stage, the more development will come to Africa.
Senior advisor for She Trade Hubs for West Africa stressed the need for collaboration among African countries to promote women in business and bring development to the continent.
What we want to do, support women, but also ensure within the hubs, which are resource centers, that they're able to work with women in different countries to connect them, so that they're able to learn from each other, but also be able to do business as well. I believe this is also a demonstration in terms of supporting the aspirations of the AFCFTA, because we have Gambians coming to Ghana to learn from Ghanaians, but also we hope to be able to connect so that they're able to do business between them.
The newly appointed Chief Executive of Microfinance and Small Loan Center, MASLOC, Abigail Elom Mensah, has pledged her outfit's commitment to recovering all debts owed the center. In an interview for an official handing over ceremony held at the office, the new CEO said the recovery is necessary to ensure funds are available for deserving applicants and SMEs. MASLOC's total recovery currently stands at 51%.
We've all heard the story of MASLOC, and as a new CEO, I would have to focus on how to be able to get whatever we've lost back, as in our recoveries, people who have taken our facilities and they've not been able to return or pay back and all that. We would have to find a way to recover, because that's the only way we can be able to find more people to be able to benefit from what we are. So the focus is to make MASLOC a better place. The mandate is to reach out to small-scale businesses who are in need of financial support. And I can, between me and you, you know that in Ghana, the small-scale businesses are a lot. So if you have a facility and only a section of those people hold on to it and the others don't get it, then your mandate is not being fulfilled. So we would ensure our mandate is fulfilled. We would make sure we get back our loans. We'll also make sure that those that need facilities to also help their businesses, they would also be able to get it to build their businesses.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Up next, the sports.
Every child is
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Oreku Ampofo. The Ghana Premier League has moved a step closer to resumption after the Ghana Football Association met Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Accra Heart of Folk to iron out their differences. Officials of both clubs are demanding key reforms before the resumption of the league, and they met the GFA led by the president, Kurt Okreku, who had been absent from subsequent meetings since the death of Nana Pole. Now, Kotoko say that they are satisfied with some of the enhanced measures put forward by the GFA, but do say that a resumption in the league can only happen after all their key demands have been met.
I'm not aware that the other 16 clubs are calling on the FA for the restart of the game. I'm not aware. So you are telling me. But I think that will not be fair to us, because what we are seeking for is not in the interest of Kotoko and House alone, but for the generality of our game. So I think that we will not be pushed or be compelled by the pressure from whichever quarters that you are talking about for the restart of the game. We shall insist on the best reforms, standard reforms that will help improve the game. After all, it will be for the betterment of all the clubs. So why the rush?
Still on the subject of hooliganism, the Ghana Football Association has descended heavily on Elmina Sharks, owned by a former presidential candidate, after violence erupted at their league match on Sunday. Sharks midfielder Jay Asamoah faces a potential 2-year ban after he attempted to assault the match official in their 0-1 defeat to Swedru All Blacks. The club's Arrested by the Ghana police. The two were caught on video attempting to assault a match official as they disputed a penalty call in their loss. Their action has been roundly condemned by Sharks owner Pakwesi Indum, who says that the bigger responsibility for dealing with hooliganism lies with the Ghana Football Association.
From Premier, Division 1, Division 2, and whatever else, what do you expect? So if I wasn't at the stadium, what do you think would have happened? If I was not there, okay, to make everybody go away and let the match continue. Don't take a clip of it and say, shouldn't someone take responsibility? It is the Ghana Football Association. They take responsibility. They must make everybody safe. They must make the game entertaining. They must pay the referees appropriately. They must pay everybody well. Not just they take FIFA money and go and relax somewhere.
Let's do some more here, where Barcelona could move top of La Liga with a victory over 6th place Rayo Vallecano tonight after Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid slipped up over the weekend. Barcelona are currently unbeaten in their last 11 games and are yet to lose in 2025 since their round of 18 defeat to Atletico Madrid. Head coach of the Blaugrana, Hansi Flick, believes that the league is still undecided even if his side picks up all 3 points tonight.
We don't look to the table, okay? For us, it's very important. At the end, we have a look on the table and we see what happens, because it's a long way to the end. And of course, what we want to show is the performance we did since we started in the new year. And I have the feeling also in the training that the team have more confidence. They believe in their strength, and it's really, and they have fun to train, they have fun to play with each other. So this is the important thing. And of course, Rayo make really a good job. Also, the coach is really unbelievable, because when I arrived here, they said, okay, in Rayo it's very difficult to win, yeah, and they're a brave team, and it's not easy there because they attack, they press, and they did it really good with a high intensity. So they do it also away, and this is why they have.
Well, let's still stay with Barcelona, because the Spanish club have signed Hafiz Gariba on a 3-year deal. The 18-year-old defender was born in Ghana and was discovered in Teshi. The defender was spotted by Villarreal CF Africa when he was playing for his juvenile club Zenaf FC in Teshi. Gariba then moved from Villarreal CF Africa to Marcel Soccer Academy in Barcelona, Spain, where he spent 2 years and had been tracked by the Blaugrana since. The Ghanaian had multiple offers but decided to join Barcelona when he turned 18. He will feature for the juvenile A side, that's the under-19 team. Well, for more stories and updates on ongoing games, you can follow us on social media at 3sports. My name is Ore Kwampofu.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil, powered by 3 Entertainment.
Well, good evening. Let's do some entertainment news here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, in celebration of this year's International Mother Language Day, the Bureau of Ghana Languages is intensifying its efforts to ensure that languages, one of Ghana's key intangible cultural heritages, are preserved and passed on to future generations. The Bureau is also calling for a review of Ghana's language policy to help protect and preserve the nation's languages and culture.
Every year on February 21st, the world observes International Mother Language Day, an occasion dedicated to raising awareness about linguistic and cultural diversity, as well as promoting the use of mother tongues. International Mother Language Day is crucial in preserving language as an intangible cultural heritage. As part of its mandate to promote Ghanaian languages, the Bureau of Ghana Languages remains steadfast in its commitment to achieving this goal. To celebrate this year's International Mother Language Day, the Bureau of Ghana Languages is distributing books written in various Ghanaian languages across the country. This initiative is aimed at amplifying the promotion and use of local languages.
Program that has been aligned, and then it is part of the program that we have started from here to various schools in Accra and across all regions for our books to be so close to us so that when we want to read and learn, we'll be able to access them.
Through this project, the Bureau is also advocating for a review of Ghana's language policy to better protect and preserve the nation's languages and culture.
Even the language policy that is currently working is not even favoring our Ghanaian languages. So if we just compare our language to that of English language, you could see that the English is far ahead. And then we need to do more. And in doing more, so we need to put those policies up to favor our local language so that we'll be able to promote them and then able to preserve them through the various levels of speaking.
Now to some more stories. Queen Titiaka has been actively engaging with heads of both private and public institutions, students and traditional leaders in preparation for the launch of her projects this year. Now, during her interactions with students in Accra, she emphasized the importance of both individual and institutional contributions to combating climate change and safeguarding the environment for future generations. Ahead of the launch of her project, 2024 Ghana's Most Beautiful, Queen Titiaka, has hit the ground running by engaging students in climate awareness efforts. The affable Queen has been spreading love and positivity throughout February, showing her commitment to empowering communities in the fight against climate change through her initiative. The outreach, which started at the Career Islamic Basic School, later progressed to the Osu Salem School with the aim of spreading their message on climate action.
Project is on empowering communities for climate action, and this is just one of our initiatives, which is the Sweet Smiles initiative. And we are here too at the Osu Salem Basic Schools as well, just to educate the students and teach them practical ways to help protect the environment and mitigate the adverse effects of climate change.
In her speech, she urged both individuals and institutions to contribute to mitigating climate change and to help protect the environment for future generations.
So we are calling on all stakeholders out there, companies, NGOs, individuals who are interested in safeguarding our environment and in climate action to join hands with us in order to protect our environment. It is our collective responsibility, and do not hesitate to get in touch with us. Let's protect our environment.
Well, that's how we wrap up on the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
Thank you so much, Noella. Coming up, international news.
European leaders are meeting in Paris for an emergency summit on Ukraine. Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk says he will urge officials to immediately boost defense spending. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov says there's no room for Europe in any peace talks, suggesting Europe wants the war to continue. Ukraine's President Zelensky is also in Saudi this week, but says he's not involved in the US-Russia talks. Meanwhile, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says he's ready to put UK peacekeeping troops in Ukraine if and when the war ends. Police in South Africa are hot on the heels of the suspects behind the killing of Mohsin Hendricks, dubbed the world's first openly gay imam. The 57-year-old was in a car when he was shot dead in broad daylight. CCTV footage of the incident shows a hooded figure running out of a pickup truck that was blocking Hendricks' vehicle and then firing shots through the window. An investigation is underway. Pope Francis is being treated for a complex clinical situation and will remain in hospital for as long as necessary, the Vatican has said. The 88-year-old was admitted to Rome's Gemelli Hospital on Friday to undergo treatment and test for bronchitis.
And that's how we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you for your time. I am Martin Asiedu Dartey.
And I am Portia. Gabor. Do join Alfred Cancer at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight. Good evening.